Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on Alexis University. This time is a little bit different. I interview 14 millennials about their pathway to success. Each week, we will bring you a different video, so make sure you stay tuned to hear about their journey. First, let's just start off with your name and what you do for a living.
My name is Khadijat Dosunmu. I am a math paraprofessional slash teacher, sixth grade math to be exact. And then I also just recently started my own, an entrepreneur, so I just started my own business and I'm a blogger.
Okay, and so what schooling do you have behind being a paraprofessional? And do you think that prepared you for what you're doing now, or do you think there was like other things that helped prepare you for what you do now?
So I have my associates in business. I went to KU, then I went to Washington, and then I was just like, I just don't like school. I didn't really care for it, and I didn't want to put myself in a whole bunch of debt. I went to, once I finished here at Washington, I just really didn't, once I got my associates, I just really didn't care to do anything else. I just didn't like, that in itself was a drag for me. I was like really like forcing myself to get up. And being a paraprofessional, I'm honestly just naturally really good at math. I'm really, really great at math. I don't really care for it, which is funny, but I am really, really great at it. I feel like math it's simple because it doesn't change. 2 + 2 is always going to equal 4. So that works well. It is. And if you know me, that's how person I am. So that works really well. And since I was really great at it, I actually started working there because I was helping out my cousin because she needed a paraprofessional because they moved hers. So she said if, she told her school that I still work at, she told them, if I can find my own, and she fits and they fit the requirements, can they work here? And they was like, hey, that's fine, since they did abruptly take hers out of the classroom because she had to be placed somewhere else. So over Christmas break in 2017, 18, one of those. And she asked me, and I applied for it. I was like, the president wants, she's like, would you please just do it for me at least till the school year's over? So this middle school, I just want somebody who already knows me, just so I don't have to, we have to like, get used to anybody. And I was like, okay, fine. I always work with kids. I'm really good with kids. So I was like, whatever. So I did it, I applied, I got the job. And that was originally 3rd grade. And then I was really good in 3rd grade, and they started to come in the classroom and they said that I was really good at math. And that's how I got moved to specifically the math department with the 5th and 6th graders.
Do you think that going to Harold Washington, that's just something that you feel like you needed to do? Or do you think that like having that background specifically prepared you for where you are now? Do you think that you would have been okay without it?
I would have been okay without it. I feel like the most I learned from Washington, honestly, the most I learned from college in general, it had nothing to do with anything like math, science, reading related, honestly, if we're being completely honest. I feel like the most I learned from Harold Washington and just college in general, but especially Harold Washington, because I had a really good African American studies teacher, was my African American class. Other than that, I did learn some few things for like my business class, but then I also think a lot of things that I learned in there was kind of like, I feel like a lot of people probably learn from like experience and hands-on if you have those opportunities. And I did, because I did have I worked at a law firm, and I worked for a law firm, and an attorney. I was like a personal attorney assistant once I left this law firm. And a lot of the things that I was learning in my business class, I watched him do it. So it's kind of like they both means to me. Everyone doesn't get those experiences, but I definitely think, for me at least, I did. So that business class was something that I really, really, I needed, I would say. Depending on what you want to do, and it's like, I feel like education to me, I feel like depending on what you want to do and what you're as a profession, I feel like that's when stuff, as far as higher up, it does benefit you because of the knowledge and what you want, because you get yourself in experiments. But even for people that I know, another one of my friends, she's a teacher. She always says, I learned more when I did my, when you have to be a teacher in a classroom. She said, I learned more from that than I did an actual classroom, because no one can teach you how to deal with a 6-year-old crying, or no one can teach you how to help a kid who's sitting there throwing like a temper tantrum, or just like literally like bugging out because they don't understand a problem. You can't be taught that. Like, you have to literally like experience it, because even when you're taught it, you kind of, you think to yourself like,
did I be crying too?
you literally are shocked. You don't know, like, it's an instinct kind of. So I feel, at least for me, I would say no. And me attending her Washington, I will say that was partially for my parents. And then another fact was just because I did think that if anything it taught me, it did kind of teach me patience, I would say, to a certain point, because it's just like you can't get everything when you want it. And sometimes I do feel like you can't beat the process, and you can't skip it. Some things you have to go through. It's like a rite of passage in a way. So I will say at least the 3 years that I did do they were helpful in the sense of that. But as far as helping me for what I'm doing and like preparing me educationally, no.
If you could go back and change anything about your experience, do you think you would get your associates? Do you think you would just say, forget everything? What would you do differently?
Do I know what I know now?
Yes.
Knowing what I know now, I'll probably, once I got out of high school, I wouldn't have even gone to school at all.
Okay.
I would have, because for me at least, I feel like a lot, even as far as, because I knew that I was always really good with kids. People tell me that all the time. I've always worked with kids. But even the fact that then it was kind of like a finding type of thing. And like, I don't want, to a certain point, I want to say like a calling to a little bit, like, or at least like, I feel like, I do feel as though now, and especially like the climate that we're in, and especially working at my school, the teachers who are there, I feel like I do feel like it's a reason that I'm there. I'm one of the youngest teachers there. And I can relate to a lot of the kids. So I just kind of feel like it was one of the things, like, somewhere I was supposed to be at this moment. I do believe that. But then I would not have gone to school. Knowing I know now, I would not have gone when I left. Because I do know too, just on the back end, like a lot of my friends, and I gotta say if I can say a handful of friends, if I can say 10 friends who went to college, I can honestly think only 3 of them are using their degree.
You talked about the fact that you got your associates because you felt like you wanted to, like, not prove something to your parents, but it was more so for them than for you. So what advice would you give to people who you feel like they're going to school for what their parents want them to do instead of what they want to do for themselves?
It's stupid, and that's why I dropped out, and I was like, I'm not going back anymore, because at the end of the day, no matter what it is, education, a job, whatever, if it's something that you don't want to do, you're not gonna do it. It's not gonna be fun. It's gonna become a drag. And one thing that I do believe in, you cannot work someplace that you don't like. If you don't enjoy it, if you're not happy at where you work, it's not going to be pleasant at all. So especially something as far as education, at least, even if you do want to say finish for your parents, which that's fine, but I would still say find what you want to do at least and finish with that. So if the whole thing is, your parents like, I just want you to get a degree, and you want to abide by that, and you want to do that for them, that's fine. But at least find what it is that you want. And I'm all for saving money. So if you don't know what you want at that moment, like, perfect. When you figure it out, you can go back and, get it together. But I don't say waste money, because that's what you're doing. You're basically wasting money. You are. If you're going to go to school for something that you don't want and something that you don't enjoy just to get a degree for someone else, well, now when you do get that, you got money to pay back, or it's just going to become a whole thing where we spend all this money on this and you're not even using it. Like I say, I know some people who have degrees, like legit degrees, business. One has one in education. One of them girls is a bartender. The other one, she works at like Nordstrom's. Not saying anything's wrong with that, but it's just like you got Nordstrom's covering $200,000 worth of debt, or if nothing wrong with bartending, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But it's just like you knew that, so it was kind of just like I just don't personally see the purpose in doing something that you don't want to do, because I don't believe that education, especially school, is for everybody. I don't believe that it's something that everyone needs to do. And I don't believe that only successful people are college graduates, because at the end of the day, life is all about opportunities. Life is all about, sometimes just being in the right place at the right time. It's so many things that goes into a factor with a degree. And I do sometimes believe that a degree puts you at a higher, like you start at a different plate. I will say that. But then I also think it's so many other things that plays a factor, because some people have degrees and are dull. Some people have degrees and they don't know how to work a room, or they don't have, opportunity. They don't have like something under their belt. So it's always like a tug of war. And especially I feel like now in like this millennial age, where that's like people who are really starting to like own their own businesses and like entrepreneurship and startup companies, they understand that, and they're noticing that. So it's like, that's what they're saying. Like so many people nowadays are realizing that college is not the only way, at least, to be successful. When you have things like the internet, you have, it's so, and not just, I'm not talking about in there, like Instagram famous. Some people have become like artists, and, with just whatever it is you want to do, how you brand yourself and how you, things that you're talking about, blogging, and it's so many things. And like blogging, and that's writing, like that's a skill. Some people, like that's something like people really, really, like you can go to school for creative writing, and some people just have that natural talent. And just depending on how they put themselves out there with advancement of technology and like I say, social media and stuff, college may not be something that you need to do. You might say, I'm not trying to be a creative writer for a high school, a 12th grade high school literature class. That's what I'm trying to do. But you can still finagle and finesse your way to success.
What helped you prepare for life after your associates? Like, do you feel like if you talked about the fact that your cousin needed help in their classroom, do you think that if they didn't need help, you would have tried to do something different, or do you think you would have tried to go on the same path? Like, how did you know, like, okay, this is something I'm good at, I might as well apply instead of choosing a different route?
It was just me being helpful. Like I said, I knew I was good at it. I knew I was really good at math. Like, it's plenty of times that even at my job, when I told them, it was like, because I got offered a job to be an actual teacher. And I was like, I don't have my bachelor's, guys. I can't do that. Every way possible. They were trying every way possible to find a loophole. Like, well, if you do this, if you go through a temp agency, technically you can be here. You just have to wait 6 months to get your benefits. But you can be a teacher if you go through a temp agency. We can hire you and blah, 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 blah. Which actually I would have got paid more too. But they tried their hardest to find a loophole, because it's like, Kay, like they call me Kay in classroom. They're like, Kay, you're just like, you're a really good teacher. Did you know this? Did you want to be a teacher? I was like, no, I just came here to help out my cousin. Like, you guys know this. That was really the only reason why I did this. And that's just something like I said, I always did know that, like, I worked well with kids, and I'm a smart person. Like, not just saying that I knew that I was smart. I just didn't want to go to school, which I understand why that did irritate a lot of my family members and why they were so irritated, because I get that all the time. Like, oh my God, wish you would have just. And I'm thinking like, but to me, I feel like that's the messed up part about it, is because the fact that I am like a smart person. I have like all these like great skills and great qualities, but because I don't have a college degree, that's what's holding me back. And I just feel like that's just really messed up to a certain point, because it's just like, when I get that degree, what's different?
Right.
I still have these same qualities. I still have these same skills. And why do I have to pay for it? Like, why do I have to, like, that's a different.
That's just her perspective for now.
I just don't see like why do I have to pay for it. And if I didn't, I couldn't tell you what. I think if anything, I probably would have been doing something entrepreneur before, because even me being here, I just don't like working for people. I just feel like I don't want to live my life to make somebody else rich and successful. If I can do that on myself. So I still think I would have been starting something like an entrepreneur thing more, or like I would have probably like done something much differently, or like found a way to like really make some money off my blog by now, like really like focus on that. Not saying that I don't want to do that, but because I'm doing this and I do enjoy it. I'm not saying to say like I'm miserable at work. I do enjoy it. I do work with kids. I do love working with the youth, especially young Black children. I really do enjoy doing that. I just know that I don't want to work for someone for the rest of my life. So if I can find a way to help and benefit them without taking out the middleman as far as a company or something, then I'm all for it. But I think that I probably would have found something like entrepreneur-wise, or I would have, most likely would have been something of that nature. Like, I don't think if I worked at a school, like I know that I wouldn't have been, girl, I would quit a job in a heartbeat. I wouldn't be.
Think about millennials, we out of there.
Get them leave. I'll be like, oh no, because I would have been quick. Like I can't do this. Who you talk to? Oh, all these hours, this little money, I gotta go. Like I would have been dipped for sure. So and I think that was also too, like, I do think her calling me for real was a blessing in disguise, because I think it was another way that kind of like use my skills and my qualities to help. And then the way I'm talking to I tell these kids all the time, like, you know, if you know something that you want to do and you're passionate about it, and you feel like school is something that you truly want, I don't tell them they have to go to college, because I feel like that gets thrown down a lot of kids' throats, and I feel like that discourages them a lot, because some of them, like, they don't know what it is they want. You're trying to tell a sixth grader, which is an 11, 12-year-old, that, what do you want to do when you grow up? Like, how many times have we changed our mind as adults? So he thought he liked this little girl yesterday, and he don't like her today. Like, that's just something as big as a career and what you'll do for the rest of your life. I say all the time, like, ease on it. And you might not know it now. I'm 26 years old, and they found this out, like a couple years ago. You got a while to go. So I just I try to like ease education and ease things to a way, and try to teach it in like I don't like to say cool way, but like in a way that they can relate to it, in ways they can help figure out what it is that you like. So I try to do things like in our class, we do like in the winter when it's cold outside in winter time, because I don't go outside in the cold. And they know this. So when we was in the building, like our recess and our lunch, it would be more so like I would bring things like that I had. I would bring my camera to class, and I would bring just like little things like instruments, and I would allow them to bring like some like they like toys. I say toys, but like just tools. One kid, he used my computer and he made a beat on my computer. He knew how to work the GarageBand. He was making beats on my computer. And a girl, took some really good photos. She would take photos at recess. She would take photos using my camera. And I'm like, just simple stuff like that. Like, I feel like you throw things out that they can help. And then even if they do go to school, they can go to school. You may not say go to school for photography, but if you go to school for business to help yourself with your photography career, or photography goals or dreams, or how to run a business, something like that. But at least you have some type of plan, right? Because that helps. But instead of you saying like go to school for business, you think to yourself like, okay, I go to school for business, then what I'm doing with it? Like, try to figure, even if you do, like, I'm not trying to say don't go to school anymore. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying go to school with a plan, and if you do want to go to school with an idea of what it is that you want, because that would make schooling so much better. And if you truly can just say like, I don't need school, I can do this on my own, I've already had this many opportunities and this and that, then don't go. And continue pursuing your dream otherwise, or elsewhere. But I just feel like the main thing for me that I don't think gets talked about now when it comes to education is a vision. Like, that's something I think that gets missed out when they talk about education. They just, like I said, they just automatically just tell you, what do you want?
What do you want to do? Right.
But you have no vision of. No one prepares you for life after college when you got $200,000 of debt, and it's hundreds of thousands of other people applying for the same job as you with the same credentials as you. And it's just like,
what's going to make you stand out?
So that vision part at least can help, because then you can work a room or talk, you have other interests, you have other things, you have other, like, you can sort of kind of narrow yourself down. I don't need to go to that place because I don't want to work there. I want to do this. And that's out the picture, because I know that I want to go here. So if you're just walking into one big room and you're just looking around, you become overwhelmed.
What do you think, like, your end goal, like, if you can choose right now, what do you think, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? Do you think you'll be doing the same thing? Do you think you want to do something different? Like, what is your goal? Do you have a plan, or is it still something that's, like, on your mind?
My goal, so my short-term goal, I use my short-term goals is like 30. So that's about 5 years, 4, but that's like, okay. So my short-term goal is, no, I will no longer be working where I'm working. By then, I would love to be more of an entrepreneur, and I would love to be filthy rich. But if short-term goals, if I'm just comfy enough to support my living while also still continuing to pursue my long-term goal, because my long-term goal, which is, so I would say 10 years, so that's me like mid-30s, early 40s. Actually, no, it's mid-30s, because that's 10 years. Not gonna give myself some extra years. But my long-term goal, I will be at a point where I can literally give back. And like I said, I do know for sure that I do want to do something in the sense of kids. So by that time, I would pray to God that by then I would be able to, it would have, whether it's an aftercare, or, like, I don't say aftercare, I would love to do in a sense of like things for basically like what we're doing right now, in a sense of like guiding children, guiding the youth into like figuring out what they want. I know I love working with kids, I do, but I don't want to be a teacher. I'm not trying to be a teacher for 60 years. I'm not trying to be a teacher for until I'm 60. I'm not trying to be in a classroom that long. No, I feel like I am right now. I feel this is where I'm supposed to be, but I know this is not what I'm not supposed to be here for the rest of my life. So I would hope that like the other things that I started to dabble in right now, that they would have taken off, and then I can truly go back. I can give back and I can help. I just know that it's so many people who have skills, and they have because they have the skills, they have the talent, so they don't have the opportunity. And I just really want to give opportunities, because I was blessed with opportunities. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I know that in a lot of cases, with no college degree, my resume can can play with the best of them because of the opportunities that I was given, like because of my family members. I know that I'm privileged. I'm not gonna be in denial about it. I know that I definitely am someone who's privileged, and I jumped a few. I know I started at a few different bases than others because of who I knew. But then I also learned some of the skills I did learn. It was from family members, and Auntie Melody, my Uncle Joseph, my Uncle Flo, my TD. I know just because of their rankings in situations and in their careers, I learned just by watching them. I've learned so many things because I did have those type of people in my life to lead by example. So I know that I started a lot of. I started off further than some did, and I just want to actually help others, especially younger kids between high school and even college. How that's a skill that I would love to give back to, but I know that this is not something working as a paraprofessional, even as a teacher. That's honestly why I haven't even tried to certify and become a teacher, because I don't want to get stuck doing that. And I know for a fact that I wouldn't let myself be 35 years old and a paraprofessional. No shade. I know that's something I would not do. I've been there past that. So that's another tip to a certain point. put yourself in a temporary situation that you know you're not gonna want to do for longevity, because it is very easy to get sucked in, and then life happens and it be to the point where you're like, I got a kid, or I got this, I got bills, stuff to take care of. Whereas me, that's why I'm like, nah, I enjoy doing it. I like it. I don't have too many responsibilities, so I'm not like, I'm not paying a mortgage and blah blah. I still do whatever I want. I go wherever I want. I can pay for it, but it's also like, I know that I'm not gonna do this forever. So it's kind of like, I'm not even trying to put myself in a situation to become comfortable. Because like even right now, to a certain point, I'm starting to become uncomfortable, and I'm like, I don't really want to do this anymore. I'm not really feeling it. So it's really helping me push to do the things that I really do want to do. And it's like, I'm basically like my biggest boost. Because like, Khadijat, you don't want to be here again, and you don't want to do this again. So it's like,
you put yourself in the right position, in the right place, so you can keep forward.
But that's also part of my short-term goal to like make sure that you don't. Because I think I said, like, if they did offer me, I don't think I would go back next year. Like, this would most likely be my last year, especially since it's virtual. It most likely would definitely be my last year. But I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'm past this now, and it's time for me to go on to the next stage. And it might be uncomfortable, but that's fine, because when you're uncomfortable, you grow, and that's when you actually learn the most. So it's like, I'm ready to move on. I never want to be the smartest person in the room, because you don't learn anything. So I'm ready to move on, and then move on from that, and then voila.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's Success Series. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our channel to get alerted for the next video.